Everyone, welcome to week 11. This week we begin module 3, which is a 4-week-long module. My plan this afternoon is to talk to you about the module itself and then also go over how you earn points for the week. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get into Blackboard. Start here at the home page. Last week we wrapped up the interim module, so we're done with that, and we're now into module 3. Module 3 is organized the same way that all the other modules are organized. They're 4 weeks long. And they have an overview document like this, and then there's a list of the things you're going to complete for the end of the module. All right, so we're going to start with this overview document. We are in the module that's going to deal with performance. So our goal here is to discuss how artists and actors and musicians and players create performance pieces which connect with their audience and are created in real time. So we're going to address a handful of essential questions. So our first one is, how do we feel sound? So how does how do we sense music through touch? One of the things we'll talk about throughout this module is psychologically our senses of touch and our senses of listening or sound are actually overlapped. So now how do we listen with all of our senses? What is listening? And how do we see and feel the same way that we hear? What do we mean when we refer to music as the universal language? And lastly, do audiences and consumers have any responsibility towards artists? And if so, what are those responsibilities? Our main topics are going to be understanding the role of time in the arts, the qualities and performance of music and dance, rhythm, movement, repetition, emphasis, unity, and harmony, and lastly, how we record movement through temporal awareness. So because we're fully online now, our required studies are a little bit more important than they used to be, right? Before they supported what we learned in class, now they become the crux of what we're learning, and my videos are supporting what we're learning. So you want to make sure you're reading chapters 5 and 9, and then I provided with you a bunch of links to different examples of performance art, some articles, and things that you want to be aware of as you move throughout the module. All right. So because we're fully online, our class contribution and our participation form are now conflated. They're the same thing. The way you get points throughout the week is through the participation forum, which I'll spend some more time talking about in a minute. We are still doing Leading the Conversations. These are going to be posted in the Leading Conversation blog on Blackboard. You can still do the same things, the 2 news articles, interview a person, or visit a cultural place. If you're going to visit a cultural place like a museum, you want to do that virtually now because obviously the circumstances we find ourselves in, really can't go anywhere. So you can go ahead and do that virtually. So that means that you might want to take out the Art Institute or the Louvre and just do like a virtual tour, take a screenshot or 2, and then summarize that in the blog. All right. Participation forum will also have extra credit opportunities. So be aware of that, especially if you're looking to boost up your grade a little bit. And then the things that are due at the end of this module are your self-checks, so just like normal. A journal, which I'll be doing a subsequent video this week on the journal, so look for that. And then the class blog. Now, everybody does the class blog, so it's not just A through L or M through Z. Everybody's doing the same thing. You're going to be looking at old blogs, right, old class blogs where people taught the class, and you're going to be reflecting on what they taught you, and you're going to be using that to write a new blog. So that's why it's called Teach the Class blog. You're learning from your peers, summarizing their ideas, and reteaching those ideas to me and the rest of the class. And then, of course, the Leading the Conversation is also due during this module, so make sure you're working on that. All right. So, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about how to get the points for the weeks. All right. So homework pretty much stays the same, but to get the points for the weeks, you're going to click on the participation forum. And you'll see the participation forum is outlined by weeks. So we're going to scroll all the way down to week 11, because that's the week we're in. And what you're going to do is you're going to do what's in blue. That's how you make up the participation points for the week. Now, I'll caution you, initially, these were kind of vague, and that was because people were using these to make up points that they missed during class. But I'm going to say that you want to be a little bit more specific now when you're doing these, because you're getting all your points through this forum. So you'll see, for instance, this week it asks you to look at 5 artworks. What you're going to want to do is tie that uniquely and specifically to our module that we're in. So right now we're in module 3, that's performance art, right? So you want to be looking at things like music, dance, or performance pieces, right, which is a special kind of art that's created live in a gallery space, all right? Now, you could do, say, like the Mona Lisa or Vincent van Gogh, and that's fine, but that's not how you're gonna get all your points. So you're gonna be missing points this week if you don't tie it to the module. Also, you'll see down here, it says the ways to kind of continue the conversation and get more points. Initially, that was just for extra credit, but here's how I would recommend doing things. Do what's in blue, and then I would recommend going and responding to a peer. That's probably gonna guarantee that you get 9 or 10 points for the week. And then if you wanna continue to respond to more peers, I'll keep giving you extra credit for each one that you do. And that's a nice way to kind of build up some extra credit points, especially because we're kind of in this precarious kind of situation with the way we're changing the format of things. It wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of pad your grade a little bit by doing a few extra peer responses, all right? Is that mandatory? Absolutely not, but it's definitely recommended, all right? And we'll be following that same pattern then for each week. So in week 12, you'll go here, you'll do the blue. Again, we'll make sure you're tying it to what's in the module, and then continuing the conversation will get you probably most of those points. And then there's always ways to do more peer responses, and that'll get you the extra credit points. All right, and we'll do that for the rest of the module. All right. So by the end of the module, you're gonna wanna make sure you go through all these participation forums that are tied to each week, and then finish the homework under module 3. I will be grading throughout, but just like how the class worked before, really nothing is due until the end of the module. My only word of caution here is the participation forum. I highly recommend you do that week by week so that you're staying with the class. And that's gonna also guarantee that you get the most points, right? Because if you wait to the end, that might actually negatively impact your grades. You want to probably do these week by week, or really within reason of the weeks, okay? All right, so that is module 3 in a nutshell. And like I said, be on the lookout. I'll be sending another video out at the end of the week going over your first journal entry option, and I'll continue to do these as we move on. All right, thanks everybody. And as always, let me know if you've got questions.